Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is Kyle with Limitless PowerSports Service and Repair. Coming back at you with another video here. This is a 1997 Kawasaki Vulcan VIN 1500. The gentleman called me and he's wanting to get it inspected. He needs it gone through. He said he pretty much has everything else taken care of, but he cannot figure out an electrical issue with his taillights and his blinkers. He's got front ones, but he doesn't have any rear ones. His brake light works. His license plate light works, which is part of the brake light system on this bike, but his rear running lights and blinkers do not work. So we're going to run through, of course, like we always do, and we're going to pull the seat off and we're going to check the battery first and foremost to make sure we have 12 volts of that. We'll check the connections on that to make sure they're tight and make sure there's nothing else bolted to it. That way, make sure that the primary cables that run the bike, your hot leads and your ground, are the first wires to the bike. On anything you put on, accessories come secondary. So we're going to jump into that, guys. We'll pull the seat off, we'll take a look at that, and then we'll see if we got any issues with any fuses, and we'll keep going through the process till we get it taken care of. All right, well, before we jump to checking the battery, let's just make sure that we have the issue. I know it does have power, but I'm not sure if it has 12 volts. So let's go ahead and turn the key on. See, we got the tail light. Grab the brake, we got brake light, license plate light, but I don't see any running lights. Let's try the blinkers. Left one, nothing. Right one, nothing. All right, but the front ones, we're good there. All right, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna pop this seat off and then we're gonna take a look at the battery, make sure we got 12 volts, and then we'll check the junction box which has the fuses and we'll go from there. All right, guys, go ahead and take the seat off. This one did have two bolts on the sides right underneath here. I did already take those out. This is an aftermarket Mustang seat and they can be a little tough to get out. All right, there we go. All right, so here's the battery. So once again, like I said earlier, look up and look at this. We got loose battery connections already. You can see that right here. And then on top of that, he does have, this looks like his battery tender. It is underneath your main cables for your motorcycle. Like I said, you guys want to make sure your main wiring harness cables and starter cables, power cables, all that stuff is the first thing mounted to the terminals on the battery. We'll switch those and then we'll check out the junction box. All right, guys, you can see we got the battery hooked up properly now. Everything is nice and tight. I pulled the junction box out. I checked the connections. They're nice and tight. We're going to check for 12 volts here first. Then we'll check the fuses. And then we'll check make sure we get power down to the winker relay, which is on the right-hand side down here behind this cover. And I believe there is a coolant reservoir that's also in the way we'll have to take off to make sure we got power running down to that. That's your first and foremost, is just make sure you have power running that. And you can also check the harness all the way up throughout also. So let's grab my multimeter here. It's a Fluke 115. I've had it for quite a while. Let's put it on volts DC. Hopefully that's in good focus for you guys. Red to positive, black to negative. And we're running at 11.92. So we know it's got good voltage. So now let's grab a test light. We're just gonna hook it directly over here to the negative terminal. Test it here on the positive, make sure the light works. We're good there. Let's turn key on. Still no lights in the back. Let's pop the top off the junction box. And we're gonna test each one of these on both fuses on both sides to make sure we got power running through. Okay, we're good there, both sides. There's one, there's the other side. And here, and here. Let me get you guys a better angle. And then we'll go down here. As you can see so far, we have lit up on both sides. So we know we have power going to the junction box. Should be coming through both sides. We just check power out now. These two here are your spare fuses. So we know we got good power there. All right, let's jump down to the winker relay and check that to see if we got power down to that. All right, guys, so we're gonna pull this off. The winker relay should be behind that. This one here, looks like he's got an aftermarket bolt in there. And this guy should just pop right off. Should have just 2 or 3 plastic push things into rubber grommets. Yep, there we go. And then we got to take that off. It's got an 8mm. There's your starter relay and your main fuse. And right down here is your winker relay or your blinker relay. Depends on how you guys want to phrase it. Depends on what you're looking at. So let's check, see if we got power. once again, we'll should have just left this hooked up to the negative, but we'll hook that back up to the negative, and we'll check both sides, see if we get power. We got power there. Oh, it's blinking there. But no blinker going. So we have power, no blinker. So my suspicion is we're probably gonna find a wire up here in the junction box loose. That's probably my guess. So we'll go through these wires and see what we can find. We know that power is, you have orange, green, and the orange with the green stripe, and it looks like a orange with red like checkers up the line. So let's jump into this guy and see what we can find there. All right, so we're gonna go through these wires. Key's still on. We're just gonna go through and just check everything out. Make sure everything is nice and tight. Like I said, the junction box, everything in there looks nice and clean. It's not corroded or anything. I can already see inside of here, there's a wire pushback. It may not be clicked in all the way. It looks like from the abuse, it's a good possibility that it just got pushed back, because you can see they use pliers on these and actually it screwed up the little clamps. So that happens sometimes. You know, sometimes they get hard to pull in and out. We'll just go through, pull on each wire, make sure they're nice and tight. Make sure they're not, the clips or terminals aren't coming out of the connectors. There you go. Look at this right here. Boom. Something so silly like that, just a pushback wire, you can see it right here, could cause those blinkers not to work, and you would never notice that because it's not all the way out of the terminal. They can make intermittent contact, get them sometimes, sometimes not. So let's go ahead and pull on some other ones here. Make sure nothing else is going to come out. Let's go ahead and check this guy. Let's push this little tab up on the back. Some of them have a little tab right here. You can flip up just a little bit. You can bend it with your fingernail or screwdriver, and that'll definitely lock it in place. Like I said, it was just pushed back a little bit, and I pulled it, and it popped right out, so it may not have been perfectly locked in. Somebody could have been just pulling on the wiring harness, trying to get that junction box out. That's why you always want to grab the plug and never the wires, guys, because issues like this will happen. You could break the wire. Never tell inside this insulation until you do an ohms test. We had started the ohms test all the way from here, all the way up to your blinker switch and everything. That clicked in nice and loud. So let's plug the junction box back in and see what happens here. All right, guys, junction box is plugged back in. Key is on. Let's bring you guys to the back here so you can get a good look to make sure we got blinkers at least. All right, guys, so let's turn the key on. Key's on, brake light, running lights on. Oh, there we got left blinker, right blinker. Awesome, never had that before. Let me double check the front. All right, guys, well, there you go. His running lights on. It's got blinkers. Something simple like that can be an issue just by pulling on the wires, like I said before. So we got that problem solved. We'll talk to him about if he has any other issues before he takes it out to get inspected. Again, guys, thanks for tuning in. Remember to subscribe, like, and comment. If you guys got any questions, leave them down in the comment below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And let me know what you liked about the video, or if you got any ideas for future videos. Again, this is Kyle with Limitless PowerSports Service and Repair. We'll catch you guys later.